What's up, everybody? Welcome into Group Chat Football Live. I'm Peter Ariz alongside D Money. We have a loaded show for you today. A ton of big-time recruiting news and the transfer portal. It's starting to open back up now. Starting to hear some names entering. But like I said here, D, some big recruiting news. Had a commitment last night that we'll get to in a moment. But I think the story of the day right now in the recruiting world, Chris Henry Jr., has shut down his recruitment, canceling other visits that he had potentially set up. We had heard Miami was supposed to visit there last weekend, did not make the trip, and announces today that he's shutting down his recruitment. And Chris Henry Jr., a lot of people look at him as the number one wide receiver in the country, headed to Ohio State, and that's not changing.
Yeah, so Chris Henry Jr., top 10 player in the country according to Composite, number 2 wide receiver in the country, number 2 player in California from the powerhouse Mater Dei, 6'5", 205, just an extremely fluid wide receiver at his size. That's really what stands out when you watch Chris Henry is for a 6'5" receiver. A lot of times those guys are going to struggle getting in and out of their breaks. That's really where he actually thrives. Just very, very quick, coordinated, and fluid. I can tell you a lot of, just started with Miami. I know Miami expected him on campus this past Saturday, 2 Saturdays ago. It was pretty far along. Ultimately did not make that trip. Appreciate you, Billy Tuesday. There he is. He's fired up. But expected in Miami. They did make that trip. Oregon, we know they got the Courtney Moore last year. They got Dante Moore at quarterback. They got a lot going on in the passing game. They are hitting the ground running, but they were not able to get over the hump with Chris Henry. USC, of course, he's at Mater Dei. That is a traditional USC program. They made a huge effort to keep local guys. I know he's bounced around, but let's just call him local because he's playing in Mater Dei. They've been trying to keep California kids home. They've done a lot with Polynesian players. Chris Henry's actually partly of Polynesian descent. So, a lot of things pointed towards USC making a strong run as they really ramp up their recruiting efforts. And ultimately, none of that mattered. He ended up staying with Ohio State, which it's fair to call a wide receiver U, whether it's Ohio State or LSU. Somebody's going to have that title. LSU got Tristan Keys, who some people consider the number one receiver in the country. A lot of other people think it's Chris Henry. He shuts down his recruitment and says, I am not going anywhere. I am going to remain with the Ohio State University. There you go. Billy's mentioning it's true. He is from Ohio, plays at Mater Dei now. So I said, you call him a local kid. They have more accessibility to him at USC, but he's originally an Ohio kid. So ultimately stays home. But I think more importantly than that, he is playing at the school that has been producing first-round receivers for so many years. This year, Buka, that guy's, to me, a first-round type player. And then, of course, Jeremiah Smith, in 2 years, probably going to be a top 5 pick. So no shortage of great receiver play at Ohio State. Chris Henry will slide right in.
And a big couple days of news for Ohio State because Blaine Bradford at safety, he committed yesterday as well. So not a bad little stretch here for them.
Not bad at all. This is somebody who I think is, you talk about impact guys, 5-star guys. Between Bradford and Henry, these are 2 guys at the top of the food chain. Sorry if my mic was a little fuzzy before. I just fixed it. Thanks for the heads up, Peter. So these are guys that are on top of the food chain at their respective positions. I think with Blaine, you get the physicality, the urgency, just the tone setting that you saw with Ohio State safeties and linebackers this year. Guys like Ransom were just so physical, set a tone. Henry, much more in line with like a Marvin Harrison and some of the, no, I don't compare anybody to Jeremiah Smith, but just the taller, more acrobatic wide receivers with the ball in the air. And again, Henry's superpower, if he has one, and he has a few, but I think the biggest one is the quickness in and out of breaks and fluidity with that 6'6" frame, which quite frankly, his dad had that as well when he played for West Virginia.
So looking at Ohio State's commit list right now for the 2026 class, ranked number 7 on the composite rankings, 8 commits. And again, Chris Henry, not a new commit, but it almost feels that way with today's news and some of these other teams that were lingering there. And it's an elite bunch, right? I mean, you have guys here, as you see, with Henry, with Blaine Bradford up top, Sam Greer, a recent commitment at tackle that you and I are big fans on. We've spoken about on this show. as well. So it's early, but good start for Ohio State. You wouldn't expect anything less for the defending champs.
Yeah, I was going to comment on Sam Greer, one of our favorites. We love basketball highlights. When you see Sam Greer blocking shots, playing as athletically as he does as a future offensive tackle, you love the profile. But look, this is what Ohio State does. A tall 5-star wide receiver that can make plays. No, nothing new.
Ohio State fans, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. We appreciate your support. As always, I think our best video ever is an Ohio State video. So you guys bring the love here for sure. So again, hit that like, subscribe to the channel. We're going to have you guys covered all off season long leading into the season. You guys are the, everyone's going to be coming after the crown now. So